Yes, we are.
Oh, goodness.
All right, you good? You ready? Ready?
Well, way to ask after you hit record.
I can edit this part out.
Well, what if I want it in?
And then you better hope I'm feeling lazy when I edit this tomorrow.
Oh, are you feeling lazy?
Right now, yeah.
Oh, okay.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So now that we got the cold open out of the way, I am Dylan Hildreth. I am Dylan Hildreth, the founder of Hildreth Media, contributor to Curious Sports Media and Scoutcast Media, and the man over that way. Introduce yourself, because I forgot who the hell you are.
I am the single biggest proponent, the single biggest advocate of God's best conference, the Big Ten. You can find me at Big Ten Gabriel on Twitter.
Well, I'm beginning to regret decisions. All right,
Nice.
so had a fun little weekend of college football now, didn't we? Had the
Oh,
good, the
I had
bad.
fun.
I would have had more fun, but I was with a guy who kept saying that there was more football left to be played. Well, I'm over there crapping my pants that Kentucky's beating the crap out of Georgia.
Sounds unpleasant.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. So anyway, speaking of which, let's just dive right on into that game. You watched most of that game with me.
I
What?
did.
So your initial thoughts, your thoughts on it?
If you are Georgia, you are praying, you are hoping to God that Kentucky is that. You that was an embarrassment. That should never happen. And they were very much fortunate to escape with a win, which is what you can't say against this Kentucky team. They couldn't move the ball, Dylan. It was a win to get a first down for large parts of this game. That is unacceptable.
So here's the thing: Georgia and Kentucky has been good games over the past number of years. Kentucky, they rise up to play Georgia because it's Georgia. Everybody's everybody's going to give their best shot at Georgia, and so you and when you have a good coach like Mark Stoops, you have a quarterback who is familiar with the Georgia system, Brock Vandergriff, who's been in that system for what was it, 2, 3 years? Yeah, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a war, and that's what we saw. I wouldn't put too I wouldn't put too much stock into it. It was not it it was the first big road game, and as I said, Kentucky always plays tough. Let, let's take a chill pill, relax. Let's see what happens in a few weeks against Alabama. So I I I think I think it's just let's uh let's pump the brakes. Let's see what happens at Bryant Denny Stadium on Nick Saban Field. Speaking of Bryant Denny at Nick Saban Field, Alabama, Wisconsin. Bama comes in and just wrecks the Badgers in Camp Randall. Is is Nick Saban really gone, or is Kalen DeBoer really him?
No, 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 no. This game would have been a dogfight. We saw that on the opening possession. This game came down to losing Tyler Van Dyke in the opening possession. There, Wisconsin was moving the ball on Alabama. I'm not being silly. I'm not saying that Alabama would have won. I'm saying this would have been way closer. You go from Tyler Van Dyke, um, one of the more talented. I would say he's a top 15, top 20 quarterback talent in the nation. You go from that back to Braden Locke, and oh my God, the 1850s called back with what Wisconsin was forced to run then on offense. It was so bad. So I'm not taking away credit from Alabama because they looked impressive. What I am saying is that, anytime your starting quarterback goes down and you have that big of a drop off, breaking news, Dylan, not everyone can go from Quinn Ewers to Arch Manning in their QB room. Breaking news. So that's why for me this was a great win, fantastic win on the road for Alabama. But I kind of want to see them play a more complete team that doesn't have to go to the Nathan Peterman equivalent of college football.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, when you lose somebody like and Alabama always strike gets lucky with with that. I mean, eventually
Yes,
you gotta ask questions here because didn't DeAndre Francois go down against Alabama in a season opener?
I, I think you're right.
And
I think you're right.
then we all remember Colt McCoy going down in the national title game. It's it's just it's just Alabama's tough, and you have to expect that is a real possibility that your quarterback's going to get hurt. So and I'm not. Is there a timeline on Tyler?
I didn't see anything, and I've been scrolling. I have not seen anything yet.
So we'll see how we'll see if Tyler Van Dyke is able to return and see exactly what he can do. And they're going to need him very, very quickly
Yeah,
because in 2 weeks they're going to LA and USC looks tough. There's a little bit of a rebranding there in Lincoln Riley's program. It looks like. So we got that, but yeah, I mean when you play a good defense like that, like Alabama, who likes to pin their ears back, go after you, they're stupid fast, and you have a Big Ten program that is struggling to get to the current century. This is the most likely result. Your quarterback is going to be out for the rest of the game and maybe an extended period of time. So it's
yeah.
unfortunate. Hope Tyler gets better, but that that's just Alabama. And now the game that I got you a little angry about because I said something sly, and then it happened on X. Texas rolling over UTSA after Quinn Ewers goes down, and I said jokingly, sort of, damn, maybe Arch Manning should be the starter.
Oh my God.
And then X came in and saved the day. So, Gabriel, I'm going to ask you the dumbest question you're going to get all day. Should Arch Manning be given the keys to the Corvette?
Well, Dylan, whenever you're a parent and you give your keys out to a kid, you just don't want the car to be wrecked. And what you for sure don't want is the car to be driven into the garage, because then you have two big disasters. Arch Manning is going to have a clean driving record for the next 40 years. So you're not worried about that. What I am worried about The only thing I'm potentially worried about is what happens if Texas gets a bad game and Arch Manning is in and not Quinn Ewers, and then you risk a potential divided locker room. If Quinn Ewers is good, you put him back in. Texas was playing UTSA, so now it's your turn, America. Take the chill pill. I love the Roadrunners, but there's a reason why Quinn Ewers earned the start in the beginning, and he hasn't lost it yet. If he's good to go, he needs to still start. If not, you will get your Corvette back.
Now, as far as a time, is there any word on the timetable for yours, or is that still up in the air?
I didn't see anything on that either, Dylan, and I'm mad.
So here's the thing: there is no need, zero need, to rush Quinn Ewers.
Correct.
You have the University of Louisiana Monroe next week. You then have Mississippi State, and we'll get into them in a minute. And then you have Oklahoma. So you got there's no reason to rush Quinn Ewers. Give the fans a little bit of the taste of what's coming next year. Give them a little bit of taste. Everybody likes the sneak preview for the next year, whenever it may be. So just tell Quinn, hey, get healthy. No need to rush this. Just
Yeah.
we're gonna let Arch play. Let's see what we got. Let's see how hard we need to recruit a quarterback, and then we'll go. And then we'll go.
Honestly, Dylan, even if Quinn Ewers is healthy next week for you Bill Monroe, I think it's okay to just start Arch Manning and then have Quinn Ewers back for the next quote harder game. That I'm willing to even go that far just to make sure Quinn Ewers doesn't rush back prematurely.
Yeah, I mean he's not going to be needed till October 12th against Oklahoma. So there's time. There is certainly time.
Yeah, yeah,
So let Arch Manning get some reps the next couple of weeks. Enjoy the bye week. And then you have Quinn Ewers with that game one energy again against your bitter rival to the north in Oklahoma with a Red River shootout. I think I think that's your best plan of attack. You'll have plenty of time to get him rested, recovered, and then like spend that bye week getting the rust knocked off, getting him back in rhythm. And then you come in against Oklahoma and you go get revenge. Would it be revenge? I think it would be. I don't remember last year's game. But anywho, um, yeah, so yeah, speaking of Mississippi State, we have to talk about this. There's no avoiding this one because this is absolutely insane. Toledo, the Toledo Rockets, the like fourth best team in the state of Ohio, went into Mississippi State and beat the dog crap out of the Bulldogs 41-17. Gabe, what do you make of
yeah.
this? What do you make of this tomfoolery?
Well, Tom fools around a lot. And when Tom fools around, fandoms suffer. This is like Fansville Pepsi commercials in reverse or Dr. Pepper commercials in reverse. What are you doing if you're Mississippi State? How did it get to this point? And more importantly, can it get lower? Because the answer, by the way, is yes. There's no way in hell that this SEC team should be playing Toledo like this. Absolutely not. Uh, uh, Inexcusable, despicable, and they deserve to be relegated. Unfortunately, my campaign to bring the relegation and promotion system to football is so far failing. But if Mississippi State keeps up performances like this, it will be enacted into law.
Yeah, I mean this is even below Vanderbilt standards. Like, oh my God. We're talking about a MAC team. I mean, I get Toledo, they're going to be a MAC favorite. Don't get me wrong. They're a good club. They're a good ball club. But there is no MAC team that should be going to a SEC school and
No.
dog walking them.
Good God, no.
And that is what happened here. And you know what?
Yes.
I'm on board with your relegation system because Mississippi State does absolutely nothing for the SEC anymore. E-
We're
Ever
picking up
since
delegates.
ever, ever since ever since Hugh Freeze got narked on for having using what was it exactly he was getting narked on? What was he doing at Mississippi State? Having beautiful women courting players?
I didn't care at the time what he did, and I care much less now.
I don't
What,
know. It,
whatever it was, he got busted.
it was a weird situation, definitely a fireable situation, but yeah, when that was about that was about the last time Mississippi State was relevant football wise. And then when God rest his soul, Mike Leach passed.
Yes.
So did Mississippi State's relevancy. And then we uh we also have to mention one more school because this has gotten well out of hand. And that is that school in Tallahassee. They're 0-3.
Oh, yes, yes.
Florida State is 0-3. Heck, it's Georgia Tech, Boston College, and Memphis. This isn't a murderer's row they're going through. Like, this is cruise control for Florida State. This should be cruise control for Florida State. And yet, we're sitting here next weekend with Florida State Cal in Florida State. And people are rightly questioning, can Cal win that game? Can the Cal Golden Bears, who
Yes.
couldn't even win games with Jared Goff, can they beat the mighty Florida State, who has fallen so hard out of nowhere? What say you, Gabe?
Yes.
You think they're going to start 0-4?
On the board, 1,000% it is. I mean, it's just what's there to like? What's there to like? Tell me. What do I have to wrap my arms around? And I'm a fan of Ted and Ted 2 and the Ted series, like a teddy bear, but I don't have anything to wrap my arms around on this one. Most said reports were
Oh, are we
that
losing them? Gabe?
uh, Florida Board of Regents had a nice meeting earlier. Announcement. Hello.
Uh,
Oh, can you hear me now?
yeah, we got you.
Hello.
Yep, you're back.
My bad, my bad. Yeah. So Florida had a nice board of trustees meeting earlier today. So and you have to. I mean, what else could? This is Florida Gators now. That board of trustees had a meeting. Yeah, I mean, what else could they possibly be discussing on a random Sunday? After after that, so we all. I mean, the
I don't
writing's
know,
on the
maybe the
wall
student
for
meal
literally.
budget? the education plan?
Possibly, but no. So yeah, both Florida programs are doomed here.
Yeah, I mean, I I want to give Florida State the edge because traveling cross country is a it's a
That's
hassle.
something.
It's a hassle,
Yeah.
and then Cal has never been good, except when they beat Auburn on the road. So, yeah, yeah, Cal's gonna win that game. Never mind. Never mind on that one. So, Cal's
You
gonna win that
talked
game.
yourself into it.
Oh, I just saw at Auburn W, and I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is with Florida State, the blocking up front is atrocious. It is horrific. My God, learn what gap means. It like I got I have a friend who streams on Twitch. His name's Big Ian. Go follow him. He's a smart dude. He's a good dude. He did a whole video on YouTube, Big Ian Sports Network, on Florida State and what in the world has been going on. And it is that offensive line who could not block my grandmother. And I'm not talking about the one that's still alive.
Oh,
The Florida State cannot block a soul. And that is a major, major issue that is not going to get fixed anytime this year. Now, I, out of pure curiosity, I want to look through it and see if there's a win. Okay, so there is a win on the schedule. Maybe
where are they playing? Bucknell State.
Charleston Southern late in the year, right before
Dang,
Florida.
that was close.
So they got Charleston Southern, and then they have Florida. So, yeah, that's the reality. Now with Florida and their emergency board of regents meeting, yeah, there is things are not going well in the neighborhood. And I think they're gonna give Napier 2 more weeks minimum. Maybe a third just because they're gonna get waxed by Tennessee anyway. But there is now, I believe, a secret head coaching search underway as we speak. Now,
Oh yeah.
If they lose to Mississippi State,
Oh,
it's over. It
instant
is
instant
over.
fire.
He is going to be fired before he gets back to Gainesville.
Cannot get on the bus.
Sorry, bud. You're walking home or calling Uber. Oh, and by the way, we need your company phone back. Like this this is not going to be pretty if Florida does not win this weekend. Because they're going to be playing on the same exact field as Toledo, who just put up 41 on the same team.
Oh my god. What else can you think? What reason? What other reason? What else can you possibly think here, Dylan? It's going to be bad.
Yeah, usually those midnight meetings aren't a sign of things are going well.
No.
So, is that all the games? Oh, yeah, Michigan. We got to talk about Michigan. We got to talk about one of my hometown teams. The team that inspired this color scheme here, the Hildreth Media color scheme, because I like blue and yellow. That offense by Michigan. Oh my God. You and me in a 2-on-11 situation would hold Michigan's offense to under 100 yards. Like this Darren Davis, whatever. What's his name? Davis Warren. Like, how
Yeah.
did he get a D1 scholarship? And he's a senior. So he's been throwing the football around for a number of years. Uh,
Allegedly.
yeah. As as the great words of Squirrely Dan and Letterkenny, allegedly. 444 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, with a QBR rating of 35.3, which is 103rd in the country. At Michigan, you should be able to wake up with a QBR of 50.
Oh my god.
And
Look at
he
us
can't,
saying the bar low too.
like, you're telling me this is the best that the reigning, defending, undisputed national champions have to offer at quarterback?
Yeah, no.
Because I don't believe that. Jaden Davis, I've heard great things about him. Alex Orji is an athlete. If you have to, run it out with it, Alex Orji. Yeah, like, if it's a tie between quarterbacks, tie goes to the athlete. I mean, it's that simple. And
Yeah, man.
but if Sharon Moore, well, here's the thing: Sharon Moore is probably just simply the fall guy for everything that's going to be coming from the NCAA. Michigan's going to say, "Oh, we fired the guy who was mostly responsible," and then they're going to go out and find some rock star head coach who may be the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. No, nothing.
No. No.
There it is.
No.
Eh,
Absolutely not.
Michigan will just outbid Nebraska for Matt Rule.
I will. That will be a sad day, Dylan. We will have bagpipe music blaring 24/7.
Now that would definitely be a reason to want to get into a box 6 feet under in the ground. Not your coach leaving. I mean, like bagpipes all day. But yeah. Let's roll into let's roll into the rankings, shall we? Let's see what's going on here.
Not much. How about you?
So we have a new number one team in the country, according to the Associated Press. And that new number one team is Texas. 3-0, 35 first place votes. Are they deserving of the number one team in the country?
Yes.
Yes. You think a win
Yes.
over Michigan, a dominant win over Michigan, is enough to say yes, they are the number one team in the country?
They deserve it by virtue of having not sucked yet.
Well, they haven't played anybody.
A lot of teams have sucked, and they also didn't play anybody, but they sucked.
Yeah, I I would say Georgia should stay at number one. They they've actually played an SEC school so far on the road in a hostile environment against a really good coach in Mark Stoops, who always plays Kentucky tough or who always plays Georgia tough. And I think
It
this is
was like
just like an
51-19 last year for Georgia.
no, Georgia won. I think it was a game-winning drive for Georgia last year against Kentucky.
Nay, nay. You're thinking 2 years ago. And I don't know this off the top of my head, but I was looking it up. whilst you were speaking.
That might have been South Carolina or Auburn. Either
Maybe.
way, it
It
was
was bad though, Dylan. It was bad.
it wasn't great, but nobody can be perfect 24/7. But
Well,
anyway,
yeah.
I Georgia was the number one team coming in. They haven't lost. They don't deserve to be knocked down just because they had a rough game against a tough opponent.
I see what you're doing over there, Dylan.
What am I doing?
Elevating this Wildcats team, and I'm not gonna have it. When they go through their season, barely edging out the final victory for a bowl game, I'm gonna remind you that this is who Georgia struggled against. And in week 2, or whatever the hell week we're in, because the week 0 messes me up, I will tell you Georgia did not deserve to be number 1.
Alabama struggled against a 6-6 Auburn team. I don't want to hear it. Every team gets to struggle and then advance, even in a victory.
It's a week by week rankings.
Oh, well, now we just need the DraftKings sponsorship. Anyway, so number 3, we have the Ohio State Buckeyes. Too high, too low, just right?
I think Ohio State is going to have their fair share of time at number 1 this year.
Really? You think they're climbing
do.
up to? You think they're going to climb up to number 1
I do.
because Georgia and Texas lose, or just because they blow out like Oregon?
Well, they're going to blow out Michigan State. Good God, help Iowa. And then I'm not even going to discuss the Marshall game. And then I think it's Oregon is still going to be in the top 10 by then, and Ohio State's going to give it to them. And after that, at the latest, that's assuming there are.
Oh, we lost them.
At the latest, then Ohio State will overcome.
We lost you, buddy. We lost you.
No.
So just let me know when you get back in here. So we'll I'll just say this. I think Ohio State is just a hair overrated. And let me tell you, Ohio State struggled early against an Akron team. They're not even a good MAC team, but they struggled.
Yeah, they did.
And that gives me cause to pause. I don't care if everything's brand new in that program. That's enough to give me cause to pause. Now Alabama's sitting at 4th, so I think Alabama is just slightly underrated. And I would just essentially flip-flop Alabama and Ohio State. So, Gabe, if you're back from having Nebraska internet,
How dare you?
I had to. It was too easy. What say you about my proclamation?
I mean, you and me have the same take, just your pause for concern is what I'm having because of the Kentucky game.
Yeah, but Kentucky is like
So,
an SEC team, not a MAC, not
oh
not
my
a low
God.
tier MAC team. You're allowed
No,
to
no.
struggle.
So
You're allowed to struggle against the SEC. You're not allowed to struggle against the MAC.
Kentucky's not good, my guy. And it's not just that. It was a minor miracle when to just get a yard for them, and it wasn't due. Kentucky played well, but just it was bad. They were not just a lot. I don't know.
Their
Very
quarterback
worried
had
for
the
you
answers.
right now.
Kentucky's quarterback had the answers. Brock Vandergrift played against these guys each and every day for 2 years.
He had the answers?
Yes, Brock Vandergrift was a Georgia quarterback for 2 years. He had played against these guys every single day for 2 years. He had the answer book. That is why this game was close. You have to put that into consideration.
He had the answers to it for a total of 12 points and 114 yards. If that's the answer, I don't want to know what flunking looks like, Dylan.
It's still the Georgia defense after all. That's about the best the quarterback's going to do.
114 yards.
That isn't named Quinn Ewers. And
114 yards.
and besides, Mark Stoops is the best coach Georgia's going to see all year. And Mark Stoops is a damn good coach.
No, I do like Mark Stoops.
Well, then quit crapping on his team.
I shall. I do like Mark Stoops, but I'm just saying. I think you need to do a little reevaluation of this Georgia program. They're obviously great. Not saying they're not great, but where there's noise is where I don't like it. There's a lot of outside noise. Didn't like their performance against Kentucky. Ohio State, I was having a heart attack against when they played Akron, so I think that's fair. I'm just saying I think these two teams are pretty damn close, and I'm giving personally, Dylan, am giving the edge right now to Ohio State.
Hmm. And then we got the next crop of SEC schools. Ole Miss, Tennessee, Missouri.
I
And
like Ole Miss.
We'll throw Miami and Oregon in. Actually, we'll just go with the top 10. We'll just go the rest of the top 10 here because it's all splitting
Sure.
hairs here. So we got Ole Miss at 5, Tennessee at 6, Missouri at 7, Miami at 8, Oregon at 9, Penn State at 10. How would you rearrange those if at all?
I want to believe in Ole Miss. I want to think Lane Kiffin has taken the next step. I really do, Dylan. We don't know that as of yet. We don't. But hang on, Dylan. Ole Miss might creep up there.
I I like Lane Kiffin. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he is. I think Ole Miss is very overrated, and they're riding off the SEC hype. They're riding off last year's hype. Now, Tennessee and Missouri, I still have question marks about. But one team that I am there's two teams that I am very comfortable and confident in after seeing them play a little. Well, one team I should say. One team. The other team kind of ruined it. So one team I am very confident in set and putting them up and why I would put them up so high. And I would have an argument to have them over Ohio State. And that team, the U, the University of Miami, they have finally put everything together. They've got it figured out. Mario Cristobal has got it figured out. And everything is right again at the Hard Rock. I would put Miami at 5. Actually, no, I'm going to put Miami at 4 and Ohio State at 5. Ohio State can show me something first. Miami showed me what they can do. And then I would put Missouri at 6, Tennessee at 7, Oregon at 8, Penn State at 9. Or yeah, sort of line. Oh, yeah, Ole Miss I skipped over. I put Ole Miss before Missouri. But yeah, but yeah, I would actually have the U up all the way up to number 4 and Ohio State at 5. Would that be fair?
No, 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 no. You got it all wrong, Dylan. Here's I I believe Will Howard can win the game from the pocket. I want to see that a little more from the U. So I really do like Miami, and I do like what they're building there. Um, and this is the classic. Well, it's great for college football when dot dot dot. Miami being great, it's fun, and Mario Cristobal, he is doing what's needed right now. I want to see Cam Ward be a little more disciplined in the pocket and be able to win it from there and not just have to rely on extending plays and being magical outside the pocket. So that's why I'm pumping the brakes on there. Um, and then you're way higher on Penn State than I am. I'm predicting they fall out of the top 20 before we get to October, and they will be out of the top 25 altogether by the time we're having our Thanksgiving dinners.
So you have them like completely falling off. You have Penn State like
It's a tradition.
7-5. Like what kind of record are we looking at?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Best eight wins. Best.
I don't see 4 losses on the schedule. They have Kent State this weekend, then Illinois, UCLA, at USC is your first maybe, at Wisconsin, maybe, Ohio State, no, not likely. And then you have Washington, Purdue, Minnesota, Maryland. So the absolute bottom rung is going to be 9-3.
They're gonna drop 2 games against 2 of those teams that you said that they should win. That's the Penn State way.
No, they haven't lost in the regular season. They have not lost to any team that is Ohio State or Michigan in the last 2 years, I believe. They've been 10-2 the last 2 years.
It's gonna happen, Dylan.
I your best bet is USC, depending on how good Penn State is, and how good USC is. And I'm telling you, this Penn State team is a whole different ballgame. They got a new offensive coordinator. They've got it put together, and I really like where this Penn State team is headed. And yeah, they've won 6 games. They've won every single game that they've played the last 2 years. Bowl game not included, and have beaten everybody not named Ohio State and Michigan. So, like I said, their toughest task is going to be at the LA Coliseum, depending on USC and their legitimacy, which we'll find out not this weekend but next weekend when they play Michigan.
They're gonna face a tough test by facing Illinois, my guy. I don't know if Illinois deserves to be ranked. I think that might be a little bit silly at this point. I really do. But I mean, Illinois is going to give them a test for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a smooth road there, but they're going to get there.
No, yeah, no, no, no. That's an upset alert game, 100%.
I took it off my screen. No, it's in Happy Valley. I don't see upset happening.
Well,
I can
it'll
see a
make it
booty clincher.
unhappy valley.
It's gonna make people nervous, but as far as like a full blown upset,
Valley.
I don't think so. And then what you got? Oregon.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about Oregon yet, Dylan. I'll be honest.
Yeah, they're kind of all over the place. Then USC we've already talked about. And then Utah, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. No love for the Sooners.
But
No love for the
Utah
Sooners.
needs
They're all the way
Cam
down
Rising back, or not Cam Rising. Who's their quarterback? Not Cam Rising.
uh goodness
Help me
gracious.
out.
I'm working on it.
Not Wilson, because Wilson did play.
Arnold? Jackson Arnold?
Oh no, it is Cam Rising. My bad.
Oh, Utah. Oh, you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
Utah.
I
Okay, I thought
misspoke earlier.
yeah.
You know who I mean now, though.
Cam Rising. He's in his like 24th year of college.
He didn't play, and he's supposed to be able to play the next game. But without him, I mean, with him, I do like this Utah team. They can make some noise,
Yeah, they can.
but they'll need him against Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I know that's coming up in a few weeks as well. I think. But yeah, I mean USC is the ultimate wild card here because they have the talent to really make some noise. The question is the defense up for it? Is this USC defense that we've seen over the last number of weeks are is it real? Is it real?
Yeah, I don't know yet.
Because we saw them get into a fist fight with LSU and win, and then they shut out Utah State. We gonna find
It
out this
looks
weekend.
better.
We gonna find out this weekend because then they got Michigan in Ann Arbor, and that's gonna be one hell of a fist fight. So give me a week on USC before I launch them into the stratosphere. If they come out of Michigan looking good, winning and looking good, then we can start seriously talking about USC versus Ohio State in Indianapolis for a Big Ten championship.
That
And
would be
then
something.
I'm gonna be honest here with from K State, Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma. Who knows? Who freaking knows?
Yeah. And you're going to have teams outside of there that are going to have a legitimate argument. Uh, that's always way tougher to pick. It's always easier to pick who the top three should be versus who should be, 15 through 18.
Yeah. So I guess we'll give you a little bit of time to let you go off on your beloved Nebraska Cornhuskers and what you thought about this weekend.
I mean, this is a young Matt Rule era team, so they're right now ahead of schedule. But I don't know if you ask me tomorrow on a stream, I'll say Nebraska's winning the championship. If you're asking me right now, I would say finishing in the top 20 would be a pretty big accomplishment, and that's all that you should really expect. And really, Dylan Raiola is playing well enough. It's honestly the rest of the offense. So they're ahead of schedule. You like mostly what they're doing on defense, but still too limited on offense to even hope to make a Big Ten push or anything crazy like that.
Well, they're getting their first real test Friday night. That's a Friday night game, right? Or is it
Yeah.
Thursday?
No, it's a Friday. You had it.
Okay. In Lincoln against the Illini. Top 25 matchup. Wow, who would have thought we would say that? We would have said that one.
Illinois is good.
So, yeah, it'll be a fun one, and then we'll close we'll close it on my beloved Bulldogs. Like I was saying earlier, to all you Dogs fans out there, no need to worry, no need to fret. It's all gonna be all right. Kentucky, they have a knack for playing those top ranked teams tough at home. And once again, we saw they came up short. Just everybody needs to just take a deep breath, relax. Everything is going to be a-okay. And with the AP poll having the nerve, the goal to put Texas above us, are you kidding me? Because if you look at the coach poll, we still number one. Coaches know. They know. But the AP poll, they're going to find out exactly how bad they messed up in 2 weeks when we go on the road to Bryant-Denny Stadium on Nick Saban Field. And we turn the Crimson Tide into nothing more than a ripple. All right. Anything else you want to get off your chest?
Football.
All right. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Gabe, yeah, you can go off on your stuff.
At Big Ten Gabriel on the X, we are producing content. It's not always quality, but it's there.
But it's something. But it's something. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure, and we'll see you next week.